Before we get started, brothers and sisters, we're going to have the reading of the law. We're going to start in Exodus 20, 1 through 17, the reading of the law. Go ahead, brother.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto 1,000 of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that's in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy day may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Now, brothers, so we're going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. We're going to read verse 13 through 14.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Okay, brothers, so we're going to go to Revelations 22. We're going to read 14 through 15.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
All right, brother, thank you for the reading of the law.
Sir.
Brothers and sisters, this is your first time here visiting. My name is Brother Patrick. Reading today will be Brother Red.
Amen.
And the title of this lesson today, brother and sister, is According to the Royal Law, the law that you just heard read. Are you held accountable? According to the royal law, are you held accountable? So, because a lot of times, brothers and sisters, we're going to start this lesson off in Romans chapter 4, because when you begin to look at the law, brothers and sisters, we got to be able to distinguish, because some people say the law was nailed to the cross. But then you turn around and ask them, is adultery wrong? They'll say, yeah. So, brothers and sisters, we got to get a clear understanding on about this royal law. Are you being held accountable? Now, we're going to start this lesson today in Romans 4, and we're going to look at verse 15. Verse 15, because we got to make sure, brothers and sisters, that the God that we serve is a just God, and we know that. Because he's not going to be able to tell us to do one thing and then he hold us accountable for that. We got to see if the God that we serve is a just God. Is the law that he providing for us, is it fair? Can we do it? Is it manageable? Because a lot of times people just want to say, hey, we ain't perfect.
Right.
But brothers and sisters, as you read, the goal is to strive to be perfect. It's all about the mindset, because if you just say we ain't perfect, right away you putting a stumbling block in front of your walk. But if you say, hey, I'm going to strive to be perfect, you encouraging yourself to do what? Keep the law of God.
Amen.
Now, Romans 4, let's start in verse 15. Verse 15, what it say?
Because the law worketh wrath, For where no law is, there is no transgression.
That's right. For where no law is, there is no transgression, an act that goes against a law. If there's no law, where is accountability, brothers and sisters? Can the police officer stop you for running the stop sign if the stop sign is not there? So can God hold you accountable if there's no law that the Lord is judging us against? So let's look at this here, because they say, for where no law is, there is no transgression. And we know transgression is sin. But let's see what the book say about this. Let's go to 1 John 3. 1 John 3. And let's look at verse 4 here, because everything we want to deal with is dealing with the biblical definition of sin, because a lot of people get it confused. 1 John 3 and verse 4, brother, what it say?
Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law.
That's right, go ahead.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
For sin is the transgression of the law. Which law, brothers and sisters? The law that Brother Red just read here. The commandments, brothers and sisters, right there in Exodus 20, 1 through 17. The things that you heard today in your ear, you got to apply that in your life. Whosoever committed sin transgresseth also the law. So we have accountability of what the Lord is measuring our walk to. For sin is the transgression of the law. Now, let's go here to Romans 5. Romans 5, because you got to be able to be measured to the law. But most people running around now, brothers and sisters, feel that there's no law, there's no accountability. It seems that way. But let's look at Romans 5 and start in verse 12 here. Because we got to understand even where sin came into play, because it was the transgression of the law. That's what sin is. Now, pick up verse 12, brother, what it say?
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world,
That's right.
and sin by death, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world. And what man was that? It was Adam. And death by what? Sin. So now we're beginning to see, brothers and sisters, when we transgress against the law, now you see death was put on the table. And death by what? Sin. Mm-hmm. Did you finish that?
Yes.
And so death passed upon what? All men. So now, brothers and sisters, we see when you go to these funerals and the death that we have, now you understand and know why. Because of what? Sin. And that's what we got to understand, because even like when you go to a funeral, brothers and sisters, until you understand that's just an interruption in God's creation. But through that sin and through the transgression of the law, brothers and sisters, we will be held accountable for the transgression of the law. And that's how death got on the table. Finish that. Go ahead, verse 13.
For until the law, sin was in the world.
Go ahead.
But sin is not imputed where there is no law.
That's right. It's not imputed where there's no law. That means the Lord don't have anything, brothers and sisters, to hold you accountable to. But as we, brothers and sisters, go through this lesson, we're going to look at the accountability that we have, or the responsibility, brothers and sisters, that we have as being a servant of God. That we do have something to measure us by. Now, finish that.
Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam, transgression, who is the figure of him that was to come.
Because we understand, brothers and sisters, that sin was the transgression of the law, and what death came in. And it started with what? That one man was who? Adam. So we begin to get this foundation to understand, brothers and sisters, that it is accountability for us. And let's look at this law a little closer, brothers and sisters. Let's go to James 4. James 4. Because most of the things, brothers and sisters, that we read and see, the world, it goes over the people's head in the world, brothers and sisters, because they're not understanding about the law. Some say, hey, the law was nailed to the cross, but then again, they still say stealing is wrong, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Adultery is still wrong, but then you say it was nailed to the cross. So what's the accountability? Once you begin to see these things, brothers and sisters, in the bad teaching, then you begin to understand why adultery, stealing, coveting, all these things is prevalent out here in the world, ain't it?
It is.
But let's look at this law here. Because we got to have, if you got a law, and you got the biblical definition of it, that sin is the transgression of the law, let's see about where the law come from. Let's look at this here. James 4, we're going to start in verse 12. What it say?
There is one lawgiver.
How many?
One.
One lawgiver, able to do what?
To save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another?
That's right. This lawgiver is able to save brothers and sisters and to destroy. But when you look at this lawgiver here, we know it's God. But brothers and sisters, if you think about that, even though God given us the law, something to hold us accountable, but mankind give more reverence to the law of Caesar. They'll obey Caesar before they want to obey God. But brothers and sisters, we got to look at this here and understand when you get ready to break that law and sin, this lawgiver here is able to save and to destroy. That other brothers and sisters can't do but put you in jail or give you a speeding ticket or something like that. We got to get deeper with this here to understand this lawgiver, brothers and sisters. Now, skip down to verse 7, what it say? Go back up. Look at verse 7, what it say?
Submit yourselves, therefore, to God.
Submit yourselves, therefore, to that lawgiver, to God. Go ahead.
Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
That's right, brothers and sisters. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. But, see, I look at it this way here, brothers and sisters. When they say resist the devil, and he will flee from you, that's just like a busybody. If a person come to you with gossip and all that, if you cut them right off, what they gonna do? They gonna leave, ain't they? They looking for that another vessel to entertain that being a busybody. And that's the same thing with resisting the devil, brother. So anything contrary to this law, he said resist it. And it'll move on, brothers and sisters, because you got to get grounded and rooted in the word. And those are the same things that we have to do in serving God, brothers and sisters. Now go back over. We're going to look at verse 4. Now, this here, pay close attention to this, brothers and sisters here. Verse 4, we're still in James 4. Look at verse 4, because God just told us to resist the devil, and he'll flee from you. But when you fumbling around in there and entertaining this here, look at this here. Pay attention to what you finna get ready to hear. Verse 4, bro, go ahead. What it say?
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God?
That's right. Enmity or hostile. Friendship. Everybody want a friend now, don't it? Everybody want to have 1 million likes on social media. Everybody is doing in and everything to get that like. But here you read, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity or hostile with God. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
Is that point blank, brothers and sisters? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is an enemy of God. If anybody want to be an enemy of God, raise your hand right now. don't see no hands, Brother Ray.
Nobody.
Because that's strong, brothers and sisters. Now let's move on here. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 because I want to expound back on what we read earlier in James. In verse 12 said, there is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Let's look at some here about this lawgiver, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Deuteronomy here, 32. Deuteronomy 32. And we're going to pick up verse 39. Look at this here, brothers and sisters, and pay close attention to this here. Because we got a lawgiver that can save and destroy. It's up to you. Verse 39, bro, what it say?
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me.
There's no God. He don't need no help. God is God. Go ahead.
I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
That's right. Once you get into the Lord's hand, brother, sister, it can be to destroy. You can't be delivered. Or if he put you in his hand to save you, can't nobody come harm you. Ain't that simple, brother and sister? Ain't that encouraging?
Yes,
That's that lawgiver there, brother.
It is.
Ain't that's the one you want to obey?
That's the one I want.
That's why he tells us, brother and sister, resist the devil, and he'll flee from you. But this the God, brother and sister, we serve him, that I kill, and then I make alive. Mm-hmm. And neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Man, that's an awesome God, ain't it?
Powerful.
But you know, brother and sister, everybody don't know that God. You fortunate and blessed to know that God, brothers and sisters. So once you begin to understand, brothers and sisters, the God that you truly serve, and you begin to start looking at the sacrifices that we have to do as servants of God, it's worth it, brothers and sisters. Now let's go right over here to Deuteronomy 30. You know, because we got to be able to begin to look at this, brother and sister, spiritual, because if a person here on earth, if he known to be so-called bad, and he said he'll kill you, you be worried to death, won't you?
Yeah.
I ain't going over there. But then you just read about your God will kill you or destroy you. Why we ain't reverencing him, brother? That's what I don't understand, brother. So we serve and do everything else, well, we won't serve our God the way we're supposed to. Consistency, brothers and sisters, is failing with Israel. Consistency in serving the God, the lawgiver, that's able to give us eternal life. Ain't nothing here to accomplish but material things. And then what? The Lord can allow a storm to come and take that away. And then what? That's the thing, spiritual, brother and sister, we got to begin to separate. There can't nothing come between me and my God. Deuteronomy 30. Pick up verse 10. What it say?
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandment and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law.
That's right, which are written in the book of the law. The law was read to you today, Israel. Go ahead.
And if thou turn unto the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
That's right, brother. So when you read that, it's strong at the end. It said, turn unto the Lord thy God with all thy heart, not part of it. See, some was turning part of our heart to the Lord. Y'all hear me, brothers and sisters? He said all. Go ahead.
For this commandment, which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off.
That's right. It's not hidden, or it's not far off. A lot of times, brother, so we ain't reading it. Most of the people you talk to in God's word, I ain't never heard that before because you ain't never read it. Because a lot of people in the world now just want to hear and just let the minister talk to them. And he skipped over the whole Bible, ain't never heard nothing. Don't you ask the average person, brothers and sisters, that who named the animals? Most people been in church their whole life can't even tell you the answer to that. Little small thing, but your man's supposed to be taught that you been in church 30 years and you can't give me an answer. Or the correct answer. See, that letting you know, brothers and sisters, they're not reading that book of the law. They waiting for somebody to tell them something instead of reading on your own. Go ahead, wait, verse 11?
Verse 12.
Verse 12, go ahead.
It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it.
That's right. Ain't no need of asking that. You just heard the law just a few minutes ago, didn't it? Go ahead, verse 13.
Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it.
They hear it and do it. We heard it today when we read the law, and the Lord gonna allow us to hear his word through this lesson. You gonna hear it, brothers and sisters. That ain't the issue. But the key to it is that last 3 words behind that ain't come. It said, and what?
Do it.
Do it. That's where the ball being dropped there, brothers and sisters. We hearing a whole lot of things, ain't it? But see, we normally do what we want to do, or what make us what? Feel good. A lot of people just serve God on emotion. No sacrifice. Now, pick up verse 14. What it say?
But the word is very nigh unto thee.
Go ahead. It's very nigh.
In thy mouth.
In thy mouth.
And in thy heart.
And in thy heart.
That thou mayest do it.
May do it. It's in your mouth. You're reading it now, brother. So whatever you're reading along here is in your mouth, ain't it? And when you read, it's going where? In your heart. Or in your mind. Go ahead. Did you finish?
I'm at verse 15.
15. What it say?
See, I have set before thee this day and good, life and good, and death and evil.
Start. Verse 15. Go ahead. What it say?
See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil.
See, here we go. The Lord finna give us a multiple choice, brothers and sisters. It says, see, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. What verse 16 say?
In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God.
Right there, when they say, when you read this day to love thy Lord thy God, the Lord say, if you love me, you will keep what?
My commandments.
There you go, my commandments. Go ahead.
To walk in his ways, and to keep his commandment, and his statutes, and his judgment.
Go ahead.
That thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
That's right, brother. So that thou mayest live and what? Multiply. Brother, so you look at what's going on now, even with Israel. Is Israel really multiplying as a whole? Half our young men are what? Dead? Or in prison. How you gonna multiply in prison? See, all these little things, brothers and sisters, we got to consider and begin to read and look at it for what it says, brothers and sisters. See, God's laws, that lawgiver, he telling us that thou mayest what? Live and multiply. Go ahead, verse 17, what it say?
But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but thou shalt be drawn away, and worship other gods and serve them.
See, brother, so that's what else, but we can't allow our hearts to be turned away so that thou will what? Not hear, but shall be what? Drawn away. A lot of times, brothers and sisters, if you think about it, when you drawn away, that means your heart ain't in it. You're not rooted because something came right along and drawed you away. Because it's something that you lust or something you like, ain't it? Mm-hmm. When you drawn to something, that means what? You feel it, don't it? I want to do that. See, all these things, brothers and sisters, the Lord telling us, then saying worship other gods and serve them. We don't want to begin to do that. But look at verse 19, brothers and sisters. Now, this is the multiple choice I was talking about here. Listen to this. This is a merciful, compassionate God. That he giving you the answer to this here, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death,
That's right. Set before you life and death. Go ahead.
blessings and cursing.
Blessings and curses. Go ahead.
Therefore choose life, that
Therefore, do what?
choose life,
Go ahead.
that both thou and thy seed may live.
Didn't he give us the answer, brothers and sisters? Are we going to hear to that? Is that going to pierce your heart to think about this lawgiver that's giving you the law to be able to give you life? Because it says, set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. So, brothers and sisters, if you therefore don't choose life, you begin to look at the other things, don't you? To see what's going on, right? Soon as things go wrong in our life, don't you take an opportunity to start evaluating yourself? Man, what's going on? But see, the Lord telling us, brothers and sisters, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. See, brothers and sisters, y'all parents here with kids, by your obedience, and then hand it to your kid, you can help save their life. Ain't that hope? Mm-hmm. Ain't that encouraging? Therefore, choose life that both thou and thy seed may live. Now, let's go to Romans 7. Romans 7. God always give us a way out, don't he?
He do.
Let's look at Romans 7. It's all about our perception, brothers and sisters, when we want to begin to serve the Lord with all thy heart and not half of it. Let's look at Romans 7. We're going to start in verse 12 here. Go ahead.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandments holy, and just and good.
Go ahead. Skip down to 14.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I'm carnal, sold under sin.
That's right, for we know that the law is spiritual. Because, brothers and sisters, when you begin to look at the law as spiritual, the things that we do leads to other things. Just like us keeping the Sabbath day. It's beginning to picture what? The millennium, ain't it? Mm-hmm. That's the future. But you're doing it now. You're doing it every week. You know? Think about it. When you look at the calendar, you got 52 Sabbaths a year. 52 Sabbaths a year. How many are we keeping? 52. Out of how many days? 365 days a year, ain't it?
Yeah.
Lord only requires 52 to have a holy convocation. Where we at, bro? 14?
We finished 14.
Okay, let's skip down to verse 17 because he said, but I am carnal, soul under sin. Let's look at verse 17. What it say?
Now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
That's right. Go ahead. Now this here, Paul was telling us here. Go ahead. What it say?
For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good things. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not.
A lot of times, brothers and sisters, ain't you faced with that? For to will is present with me. I want to serve the Lord. Man, I want to do this here better. I want to be able to try to get this monkey off my back and try to accomplish this here. But then it said what? But how to perform that which is good, I what? Find not. Verse 19.
For the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do.
That I do. Go ahead.
Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
That's right. There's sin in you because it all starts right here, brother. So before you do any act, you're going to think it or you're going to lust it. You're going to do it against God or you're going to stand up for God. Simple. Verse 21.
I find then a law, that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
That's right. Evil always there when you try to do good or talk about you, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Right there.
For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
Go ahead.
But I see another law in my members, warning against the law of my mind.
That's right. But I see another law in my members. That's that flesh talking. Warning me against what? The law of my mind. And go ahead.
bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
That's right, bringing me into captivity to the law of what? Sin. And when you get baptized, don't the Lord tell us to have a newness of life? When you go down in that watery grave, don't that old man supposed to be buried? But see, he telling you here, and bring me into what? The captivity to the law of sin. What is the captivity to the law of sin, brothers and sisters? The transgression of the law. Simple. Go ahead. What with?
At verse 24.
24. Listen to this here. Go ahead.
O wretched man that I am,
Go ahead.
who shall deliver me from this body of this death?
That's right. Who gonna deliver you? You got a question mark behind it. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? Who gonna deliver you, brother and sister? That's a question you got to answer yourself. It's a question mark there. Are you gonna be able to deliver yourself?
No.
Are you gonna, is that lawgiver gave you the things to apply in your life, brother and sister, to deliver? Think about it. You just had the law read to you today. We just have to do it. Go ahead. What verse 25 say?
I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh, the law of sin.
That's right, brothers and sisters, until you begin to see this law spiritually and not carnal. Because when you begin to keep dealing carnal, brothers and sisters, you're going to end up sinning. Why we able to read that, brothers and sisters, and say that? Let's go right here. Stay in Romans. Now skip down to Romans 8, because this is where we got to begin to grow spiritually, brothers and sisters. Let's look at Romans 8 and look at verse 8. Romans 8 and verse 8. Brother, go ahead.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot do what?
Please God.
You can't please God. Why is that? Now skip back to verse 7.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against God.
Hostile. Go ahead.
For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be.
It can be. So you can't please the Lord, brothers and sisters, if your mind is carnal, because it's hostile or it's enmity against what? Against God, against the law. Because, brothers and sisters, when you stand on God's word and do God's word and believe it, when people mark you, they ain't marking you. They think they marking you. They marking God. Because you doing what the book say, right?
That's right.
Simple. Brothers and sisters. So then they that are in their flesh, that mind, they cannot please God, brothers and sisters, because that carnal mind is hostile against God's law. You look at it now. Don't nobody want to obey God. You take this book right now and read about homosexuality, they'll come back with you how about love is love. But the book says if you love me, God says if you love me, keep my commandments. Between the laws are being passed here in earth, brothers and sisters here, what it's doing is making God's commandments of non-effect. Because you go and talk about anything dealing with a woman with a woman, man with man, or even you talk about the Sabbath day, don't nobody want to hear that. You can read it in the book. But they don't want to understand that, or they don't even want to talk about that. So God's word begin to be a non-effect because the world is carnal and the world is doing what they want to do. Now, let's move a little further here and look at 1 Timothy 1. 1 Timothy 1. Because, brothers and sisters, for us to have the understanding and know the lawgiver, brothers and sisters, that we serve, man, that's a blessing. 1 Timothy 1, and let's look at verse 8. 1 Timothy 1 and verse 8, what it say?
But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully.
That's right, but we know that the law is good if a man uses it lawfully. In another word, conforms to it, brothers and sisters, conform to the law. Go ahead, verse 9.
knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man,
Right there. See, right there, brother and sister, a lot of people go right there. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man. They'll say right there, see that? We ain't under no law. Don't they go to this spot there? They stop right there. They'll put a nail right there and don't go no further. But you can just ask them the basic question of the commandment. And they say, oh yeah, that's still relevant. But see, let's look at this and understand spiritual about this here. Because like we know Paul's writings, it's hard to understand the people that's what? Unlearned. So we got to look at this, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man. But look, let's see what the law was made for. Because we said if it was, that if a man use it lawfully, that means conform to it. So if you conform it to something, it's not going to apply to you because you're doing what? You obeying. Mm-hmm. Now let's see what the book say about this law here. Who was it made for? Go ahead.
but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly, for the sinners and unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for purged person, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to the sound doctrine.
Brother, sister, now you seeing what that law for, ain't it? You get an understanding of that not on it. Because see, they don't read on down further. They just pick one little something and they'll build a doctrine on it. But it's telling you here what it's made for. The lawlessness and the disobedience for the ungodly and for what? Sinners. Mm-hmm. That's what it's made for, brothers and sisters. Because we got to look at when you begin to transgress the law. Let's see what the Lord say here. Let's go to 1 John. Let's go to 1 John here. Because, brothers and sisters, this serious business we're dealing with here with God's word, it got to begin to prick the hearts of the people. Turn from your wicked ways and turn to righteousness. Let's look at 1 John 3 and verse 8. Now, this is what we're finna read, brothers and sisters. Don't say Brother Patrick said it or Brother Red and read it to him. You're going to read it for yourself. Look at what it say now. See, a lot of people, what we're finna read, brothers and sisters, they don't want to be called this. Everybody in the world want to be a child of God. I don't care what you're doing. I'm a child of God. 1 John 3 and verse 8, what it say?
He that committeth sin is of the devil.
He that committeth sin is of God?
Is of the devil.
Is of the devil. Go ahead.
For the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
See, brother, so that's what people got to understand. Because people always holler when they see some, ooh, the devil sure busy, ain't it? No, the devil ain't busy. You busy. Your mind busy. That's what that is. We can't put it on the devil. We got to look and put it on ourselves. The biggest devil out there is you. It's all about what you begin to put here. Because when you put the right things in your mind, brothers and sisters, that soul, that body gonna what? Conform, ain't it? Mm-hmm. That's all that is. That's simple, brothers and sisters. But remember that. He that committed sin is of the devil. If that don't scare you, brothers and sisters, I don't know what will. Because we know for a fact that don't nobody want to be called the devil, ain't it?
No way.
Let's go to Psalms 19. Psalms 19. Psalms 19, brothers and sisters. We got to begin to grow spiritually. Take our mind away from all the carnal things, brothers and sisters. Psalms 19, verse 7, what it say?
The law of the Lord is perfect.
The law of the Lord is perfect.
Converting the soul.
Converting the soul. That's the whole body, brothers and sisters. Go ahead. That means we read earlier that what? We know the law is what? It's good if you what? Conform to it.
Conform to it.
We know it's lawful,
That's right.
but you got to conform. That when you do it, it said what? Converting the soul, the whole body. Go ahead.
The testimony of the Lord is true. It is sure, making wise the simple.
Skip down to verse 11.
Moreover, by them is thy servant warned.
That's right, brother. So moreover, by them what? The commandments. You just had them read today to you, and you read along. More by them is thy servant warned. So when the law was read today, wasn't you warned too?
That's correct.
But look at the hope behind that. By what the Lord said, hearing it is one thing, but what? Doing it is another one, right? Mm-hmm. So when you begin to do it, what you hear according to the law, what it say?
And keeping of them, there is a great reward.
That's right. In keeping of them, there is great reward. Go ahead.
Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults.
That's right. That's when you go into that prayer, brothers and sisters. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. The things, brothers and sisters, that everybody try to hide when they get ready to go off and be around their friends, family, to appear to be something that they not. Those secret faults, brothers and sisters, the things you're struggling with, the Lord tells us the first thing in prayer, he said, confess what? Thy sins, ain't it?
Yes.
You got to confess it. Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Verse 13.
Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins.
That means deliberately, brother. So sometimes you look at sinning willfully, you know when you're getting ready to sin, and you know when you sinning. Ain't no need to scratch in your head. But see, we'll go there and want to justify breaking the law of God. And we'll automatically say, he understand. What we're at? 13, finish 13.
Let them not have dominion over me.
That's right, not them sins. Go ahead.
Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression.
That's right, brothers and sisters. When you look at that, don't have these sins. Lord said, keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sin. That means deliberate. Let them not have dominion over me. Now, let's go move here to Proverbs 16. Because the Lord said we was warned, but in keeping them there is great reward. And we can't have these presumptuous sins or deliberate sins, brothers and sisters, over us. Because we just read, said, cleanse thou me from secret faults, ain't it? Mm-hmm. But see, this is what we got to look at, brothers and sisters, where a lot of us drop the ball at. Let's look at Proverbs 16. And we're going to start in verse 1. Verse 1. Brother, what it say?
The preparation of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord.
It should be from the Lord. Go ahead.
All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes.
That's where we drop the ball at, brothers and sisters. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. Didn't take the time to get counsel from God, did it?
No. But the Lord weigheth the spirits.
But the Lord weighed the spirits. Go ahead. What verse 3 say?
Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established.
That's right, brothers and sisters. Go to the Lord. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Go ahead.
The Lord has made all things for himself.
Go ahead.
Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil.
That's right. Go ahead.
Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination.
That's right, brother. So when you look at that, it said the Lord has made all things for himself. Even, it said, yeah, even for the wicked, for the day of evil. Brother, so the Lord want to put an evil angel on you, he'll do it. If he want to keep that good angel around you, keep that hedge around you, he can do it. Same thing as Lord told when Satan went into the Lord about Job. He said, remove that head, and then I'll make him curse. It's up to you, brothers and sisters, if you want to keep that hedge around you. Or you're going to allow evil things to come up on you. Because anything we do, brothers and sisters, is a reason why it happened. What we're at, verse 5?
In the middle of 5.
Go ahead, what it say?
Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished.
Go ahead.
By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged.
That's right. By mercy and truth, iniquity or sin shall be purged. Go ahead.
And by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil.
That's it, brothers and sisters. Don't you know that's another thing there? By the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. Don't you know, brothers and sisters, the word fear is pretty much taken out the church? Who talking about fearing God now? Everything you hear is about love, 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 love. You can do whatever you want to do. It's love, love, love. And that's where, brothers and sisters, the obedience. The Lord say fear is the beginning of what? Wisdom. That's understanding, brothers and sisters. And by the fear of the Lord, men what? Depart from evil. Now let's move on to Ephesians 5. Let's go to Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5. And we're going to pick up verse 8. Ephesians 5 and verse 8. Because, brothers and sisters, what we're getting ready to read now, we was always once something. Let's look at this here. Verse 8, what it say?
For you were sometime darkness, but now are ye lights in the Lord.
That's right. We walked around, brothers and sisters, in darkness. The ones we try to go evangelize with and deal with. We walked in that darkness, but then when they said, but now are you light in the Lord? Go ahead.
Walk as children of light.
But walk as the children of light. Go ahead.
For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth.
In truth, go ahead.
Proving what is acceptable unto the Lord.
That's right. That's what it's proving there. Proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. Now look at verse 11. What it say?
And have no fellowship with the unfruitful work of darkness, but rather reprove them.
Brothers and sisters, that's it. Have no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness. Because that's where you just come from. But see, but what you're supposed to do, but it said, but rather what? Reprove them. That means reprimand or rebuke. The things you walked in, a brother or sister come to you with the truth, now you're able to walk in the light. Those ones that are still in darkness, that's what you have to do. Stand up for the Lord. When they come to you, brothers and sisters, be able to have knowledge on your tongue to be able to teach the word. Rebuke the foolishness that you got out of the darkness. You can't continue hanging with darkness because that's something, brothers and sisters, you're supposed to leave. Because if you continue hanging around and you begin to look, man, I sure missed this. I sure missed that. See, these are things, brothers and sisters, spiritual we got to grow from. And the people that's left in that darkness, reprimand or rebuke them, brothers and sisters. That's what you do. Because there's always hope, because the Lord's goal is to try to save everybody if they're here to. Now let's go to Job 24. Let's look at Job 24. Job 24. But sometimes, brothers, so you can't feel that you get so holy and so righteous and so full of knowledge that you can't teach the darkness. I mean, that's our overall goal, brothers and sisters. Teach the people that's still in darkness and continue to teach even Israel, because Israel, some are still in darkness. Job 24. Let's look at verse 13. What it say?
They are of those that rebel against the light.
They are those that rebel against the light. Go ahead.
They know not the way thereof, nor abide in the path thereof.
Go ahead.
The murderers rising with the light killeth the poor and needy. In the nights is as a thief.
That's right. Go ahead.
The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguises his face.
That's right. You see what I'm saying, bro? These are things of that darkness, the thing we used to do. And see, that's what we're looking at now. Say the eye also that what adulterer waited for twilight, saying, no eye shall what? See me. Most of the time, everything that's done what? In darkness, ain't it?
Yeah.
So can't nobody see you, ain't it? Can't see Mr. Holy Roller or Mrs. Holy Roller. I'm going to wait till it get dark. You see what I'm saying? That's the mindset, brothers and sisters, that we're beginning to have. But now you look at what's going on now, it's so much wickedness and evil now. People doing all these things in the daytime now. They ain't waiting for a night, is it? Because you begin looking at all this crime going on and shooting and killing in the daytime. Go ahead and finish that.
Verse 16. In the dark they dig through houses, which they had marked for themselves in the daytime, for they know not the light.
That's right. See, these things, brothers and sisters, that we got to begin to not have that carnal mindset of the things that we used to do back in the day. You know, people plotting and rise, like they said, the murder rising with the light, kill it what the poor and the needy, and in the night is as a thief. You know, those are things, brothers and sisters, we got to begin to change our mindset, our thing, because we see these ways now, brothers and sisters, out there in the world. When we look, we see all these things going on. That's having a spiritual eye on. Because you see these things, because you can always look, I used to do that. I used to be like that. You know, those are things you keep back from continuing to doing. Let's go to Revelation 22. You know, because you know, brothers and sisters, the Lord giving us the tools and everything that we need. But it's all about just not hearing it, brothers and sisters. It's about doing it. You know, I tell a person anyway, if you're going to do anything against God, just do it. The angels see, Lord see, so what you hiding for? Go ahead, brother and sister, because it is accountability that the Lord is holding us against, brothers. So let's look at Revelation 22. And we're going to look at verse 7 here. Go ahead.
Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the saying of the prophecy of this book.
That's right. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keep the what? Sayings of the prophecy of this book. Why is that? Go ahead.
And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel, which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, See thou do it not. For I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship God.
That's right, worship God. And of them which keep the sayings of this book, what it said do?
Worship God.
Worship God. Go ahead.
And he saith unto me, Seal not the saying of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand.
Go ahead.
He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still.
Go ahead.
And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
Go ahead.
And
Look at verse 12. What it say?
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall be.
That's right. When the Lord comes, brothers and sisters, here dealing with the dead of the Lord said, and behold, I come quickly. And he said, my reward is with me. That's why Paul tells us, brothers and sisters, we got to do what? Endure to the end. To give to every man according to not your neighbor's work, but your work. To give every man according as his work shall be. Everything, brothers and sisters, is being monitored. That's why, brothers and sisters, lesson title, according to the royal law, are you held accountable? You got to be held accountable. The Lord said, I come and my reward is with me to give to every man according to his works, ain't it? Mm-hmm. That's simple, brothers and sisters. That's the hope that we got to continue to look at, because we read back in Psalm 19, the Lord said, in servant is being warned by the commandment, but by keeping them is a what? Great reward, ain't it? The greatest reward that we're looking for, brothers and sisters, is what? Eternal life. You know, spiritually, we got to put in our mindset, brothers and sisters, there's nothing on this earth worth giving that up for. Nothing.